doesn't matter if you love him or capital H-I-M. Just put your paws out, cause you were born this way, baby. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, your black, white, beige, chola descent, your Lebanese, your Orient. Whether life's disabilities left you outcast will lead or tease, rejoice and love yourself today, cause baby, you were born. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Whether you're broke or evergreen, your black, white, beige, chola descent, your Lebanese.
Hello guys, welcome to today's video. I've been planning on doing this for an awfully long time. Started before Christmas, it is now the start of February. I've recorded it once, edited it, and put it all in. I was waiting for one friend. That hasn't come, I've decided to give up on them. Sending me things to do with the video. But this is the LGBTQ and who video, finally. I've had to redo all the research, because I stupidly binned all that from last time. I don't know why, I just did. But in case you didn't know, or couldn't tell, I am queer myself. Yeah, I have a note, so if you're wondering why I've got this incredibly amazing TARDIS notebook, which I kind of ruined because it's a bit broken on the, what do you call it? Stem? The thing in the middle? Yeah. But I have 12 minutes to record this bit, then should have some time afterwards. I'll have to just put clips together, which I'm not used to doing. Normally I like filming it in one take, but we'll see how long it goes. So yeah. This is the LGBTQ and who video. Finally. I've actually had people waiting for this, which is surprising, because nobody ever really watches my videos. But I suppose this is quite important to a few people. And yeah. I have a couple of things. I've redone a lot of things. I don't think there's as much as last time. Because last time I just basically listed, like the first time I filmed it, which you're never gonna get to see, was basically just me listing gay or queer characters from the Whoniverse, which I've still done mainly, but I want to talk about why it's important more and personal to me and other people and stuff like that, rather than just listing characters. If that makes sense. My hair's a mess, I'm terribly sorry. In case you couldn't tell, I have my rainbow fairy lights on, just to fit in with the pride gay theme thing. But yeah. I suppose I better start then, instead of rambling on forever. But yeah. So the first thing I've got written down is a couple of characters and ships, and a couple of things. My notes are in a random order because I kept adding bits to different parts, so sorry if it's a bit all over the place. But I don't care. I'm getting the video done, finally. The first person I have written down is Bill Potts. Of course, I think later on I do mention about how her storyline is important somewhere. Yeah. But I'll discuss it now. I think Bill's storyline was important because she was the first openly gay, full-time, like, proper companion. Of course we've had, like, Jack, but he wasn't, like, the series regular in every episode companion. So that was important. It was important that it just happened. It wasn't, like, forced as being the gay relationship. It just was a relationship, or a person that happened to, a girl that happened to like girls. Yeah? So that's important, because it wasn't originally written, like Stephen said, he wrote Bill a love interest that was a boy, but it didn't feel right, so he changed it to Heather, which was fine, because that just sort of means you're just doing what was right for the character, rather than purposely went out of his way to make it a gay relationship, which is cool, I think. This shirt looks awful. Sorry. Yeah, so Bill. It was also important because she got a happy ending in the end. I think. Yeah, because there's a thing with a lot of queer characters tend to not have happy endings all the time, and a couple of people pick up on that. So she went through hell and back, but she still eventually ended up with Heather and had a happy ending. Hopefully. I mean, Twice Upon a Time didn't really clear that up. I wish it had, but basically, yeah. Then I have Clara Oswald, who we think is bisexual. Obviously, she's dated Danny and had interest in boys. She quite obviously had some form of crush on 11th Doctor. But then obviously, the thing with Jane Austen and Strictly Between Us, an incredible kisser, that line. So
Sometimes Jane Austen and I prank each other. Oh, she is the worst. I love her. Take that how you like.
So, it's pretty much there that Clara's bisexual. Vastra and Jenny, or Jenny and Vastra, whichever way around you want to put them. They are important, because they were slightly, I have something written somewhere. They were also an interspecies relationship, which is obviously in real life is a bit weird, but I still think that was quite cool, because obviously Lizard Woman from the Dawn of Time, and this is my wife, right? So that was, I think they're quite important, and they shared the kiss in Deep Breath, which I remember at the time I think there was a little backlash about, even when I wasn't quite sure myself about, like, sexuality and stuff like that. And I probably was using gay as a, like, slang term, just, like, it was probably, like, the sort of period where I was, like, thinking. But, I still didn't understand why there was a backlash or anything, because it was just a kiss between two people, and one of them wasn't even technically, like, human. It was in, like, a Silurian who... Sorry, I had to just go, so the video, I paused recording. I'm back now. But yeah, Vastra and Jenny and Vastra.
Good evening. I'm a lizard woman from the Dawn of Time, and this is my wife.
Yeah, moving on. Charlie, I'll discuss Marley in a minute. Charlie from class, who's like my favourite. He's not my favourite in class, but he's like my favourite if I was going through LGBT characters. Yikes. I kind of relate to Charlie in a way. I don't know why. He just means a lot to me as a character. He was like, obviously he is I'm not an alien prince from a planet years away. Like years away. But, like, I don't know, he feels like he doesn't quite fit in, which I kind of feel like at college. I didn't go to school, but I do at college, because I only have one friend. Sorry, sub-story. But, like, I don't know, I just sort of relate. He doesn't quite fit in. He likes boys. He's a little bit sort of different from everybody else. I kind of feel like I'm like that sometimes. He's a little bit of an outsider sometimes. I kind of feel like that sometimes. And he obviously thinks the world of his friends. And, like, never complains about them, which is me, pretty much. I mean, I'm sure I've complained about my friends a couple of times. But, like, I think they're all of my friends. Like, all of them. You guys. But, yeah. Yeah, Charlie. I relate to Charlie, I think. I put River Song down because she did the "You Remind Me of My Second Wife" quote, or whatever it was, something like that. So, we think River Song was probably bisexual as well. Ships, I've got Marley. So that's Mateus and Charlie from class, which is my favourite ship. Helped me, apparently. I love them so much. They mean the world to me. I'm actually going to be filming a video on Marley straight after this. So that might have been uploaded today, because that's a lot easier to film, and that takes less editing and stuff. So that might have been already uploaded before this. If so, go watch it. If not, it'll be uploaded. Watch it then. I've got Janto, which is Jack and Yanto from Torchwood. Yanto is, well, Jack's omnisexual, I think we said. So he sort of just flirts with everybody and has a crush on anybody that breathes. But, yeah, Yanto said it's not men, it's just him, which...
It's not men is just him.
There's a quote, so he's but in the books, I believe it's confirmed that he's bi at some point in some of the books. So yeah, I've got Matthew Waterhouse, who played Edric, who was believed to have been the first openly gay actor on Doctor Who was open about it at the time. That's a big thing. Okay, so back to class with Marley. That's important because it was it wasn't made a big deal out of, as the relationship. It was just a casual gay relationship that happened and felt natural. It wasn't forced, and it wasn't put as the gay relationship. It just happened to be a relationship that was between two guys. It showed the struggles of having a gay relationship from Mateusz being kicked out by his parents, which does happen, unfortunately. Yeah. And if aliens can understand homosexuality, why can't we? Well, not all of us can. Some of us can. But, you know what I mean. I've got Series 10, I need to mention the Romans, that scene in whatever the episode was called. Meters of Light, yeah, thought so. I'm just looking at my DVDs, sorry, they're behind the camera, not my phone. But yeah, that's important, because it shows, of course sexuality has always been around. It wasn't just one day somebody decided, I wonder what would happen if we boys like boys and girls like girls, or both, or neither, or all, or whatever. Of course it's always been around as an idea, and people have always liked the same sex just as people have always liked the opposite sex. It's just one's more, yeah. So I had to mention that because I thought that was quite important. I don't know if the lighting's good or bad, I can't decide. I'm almost running out of time on this first cut. So, yeah, camera cut out, but it's recording now. Yeah, so I'm going to go through LGBT actors, etc. Oh, people have worked on this, just a couple. I will have missed a few, and I am terribly sorry, but I had to throw together this research last night and this list. I have a couple of people that have sent me names and stuff, but I am going to miss out a few because I am terribly stupid and sorry. I'm just going to give examples, really. Russell T Davies, obviously, who brought the show back. He's worked on many queer projects like Cucumber Banana, which he did for Channel 4, which I haven't watched. I've watched one episode, actually, of Cucumber. Obviously, he's introduced, a lot. He's, Matt Lucas, Russell, whatever his name was, who played Alonzo. I put down Kylie Minogue because she's a massive LGBTQ supporter. Her song All the Lovers features, gay couples in it in the music video. It's inclusive. She's been in Doctor Who, obviously, that's why I'm mentioning her. She refused to get married until gay marriage was legal in Australia. That relationship went down, I think they broke up before that happened, but that is a big step to take just for the sake of, what is effectively a minority. But that is very massive of her, actually, and important. And I had to mention Kylie Minogue because I love her, and pretty much. I'm going to mention Bethany Black, who was the first openly transgender actor on Doctor Who. That is a massive step in the right direction. Massive. Queer actors in general don't get as much representation or etc. as straight ones, but then obviously there's other minorities within, so you're more likely to find, especially on Doctor Who. Doctor Who's a very inclusive show. It could be better, but it's very inclusive. And to have the first openly transgender actor on Doctor Who, on a show as big as Doctor Who, a transgender actor on a show like that that's so mainstream, is massive, if I've made sense. I hope so, if that makes sense. I've mentioned them. So why are LGBTQ characters important? Don't know what that was. Representation and finding characters to relate to. As a child, I used to play Doctor Who on the playground, as you do. I would either be the Doctor, fine, or I would more likely choose to be one of the female companions like Sarah Jane or Rose, and people who know me may know why, but I don't know, I kind of related to those characters more than Jack I kind of relate to, obviously with him being who he was and how he was, but I just didn't really click with a lot of the straight male characters, in a way. I don't know. So I kind of just sort of, yeah. But representation's important, because if you find someone, if you're questioning yourself, and you aren't sure whether what you feel is right, or whether you're alone, or you feel alone, you feel isolated sometimes. So finding someone on screen that's the same as you or similar to you can help you accept yourself just a little bit more and know that you're not alone and what you feel is not wrong. And that is massively important. And my camera's about to cut out again. Yeah, but it is incredibly important, and I know that. Lots of you guys will probably know that. Because let's face it, if you're watching this, you're probably going to be queer yourself. But yeah. Yeah. Representation is very, very, very important. Society is diverse. There is people of different religions, sexuality, gender identities, or just gender, race, ethnicities, people from different countries, society and culture is diverse. Real life is diverse. There is people are different everywhere. So the fact that TV and film tends to be full of cis, straight, white men is incredibly unrealistic. So that's another, people say, if a straight person was to say, I'm not homophobic, but I don't like having all this LGBT shoved down my throat. If you look at the statistics of how many straight people there are on TV to how many queer people there are, there's a drastically massive difference. So it is not being shoved down your throat, it is just being representative of what life is. There are straight people, there are queer people, there are boys, there are girls, and neither there are both. Yeah, so, yeah, but characters to relate to is important. Like I said, I relate to Charlie a little bit, which I quite didn't at the time, because I was still high school at the time. So I related to him on the gay level, but ever since I started college, I feel very out of place there, because I don't have many friends, and I don't really fit in with the rest of the group. But, now I watch it, I relate to him even more, if that makes sense. It's too glowy. I need a little bit. But yeah. And self-acceptance. If you see somebody that's the same as you, I know, if you were a young child who was, say 11 or 12 or 13, questioning their sexuality, they have been brought up not knowing, or knowing very little of gay people or queer people, right? But if you, were questioning, I think, if you're a little girl and you're going, I think I have a crush on that other girl, that's wrong, blah, 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 blah. But then if you see somebody on screen, like Bill Potts, who happened to have a crush on Heather, you realise that validates your feelings and realises you're not something strange or something that should be feared. If that makes sense. Look at me being all important and preachy. Yeah. There's a couple of people, okay, friends, that wanted to say things. I say a couple, I literally mean 2. I had 3, but one of them never sent me anything. Which is probably best, because that means I've... for re-recording it, because I recorded it as if they were going to send it me and they didn't, so I've given up. My friend wants to say something, and I have a paragraph which I'm going to fill in from another friend, so yeah, I'm going to put them in now.
I'm Dan, I'm trans, and I really like Doctor Who, and it doesn't take a genius to guess that. But when I was growing up, I didn't have many characters that I could relate to, except some of the aliens and the monsters, like the Slitheen. It made so much more sense to me as a kid that I was a Slitheen than I was any of the human characters, or even humanoid, because being an alien in human skin related more closely to how I felt about myself. And I'm sure I'm not the only trans person to have that experience. Often the trans community doesn't have many characters that are actually human and trans to relate to. It's often the aliens that we find a closer connection with. But more recently in Doctor Who, like the last season, a lot of that has changed, where the Doctor, being the protagonist, in like names in the title, is now considered a officially in-canon trans character, because it's said that he, or rather they, are non-binary. And though it's not my experience of being trans, it is a part of the trans community, and that alone means so much. Though other aspects of that season, like the finale where Bill was turned into a Cyberman, do kind of take away from that for me, because I found it very triggering. The idea of like being in the wrong body kind of translates over there. So for a lot of trans people, that would have been really triggering to see her go through that much of a low. Like, she said at one point, I don't want to live if I can't be me. And that's something that I have actually said at my worst point, because of the toll it takes on you. And if you see that episode very negatively, like a trans audience would because of that, then the ending doesn't have that happy lesbians in space twist to it, because you instead see it as you can only be you when you're dead. Because she can't get her body back. It's replaced piece by piece with Cyberman. And though Doctor Who is making a lot of progress with Jodie Whittaker as the new Doctor, I do think having trans people consulted on episodes where there is such a large audience of us and we're so affected because these characters are people that we can have a connection with more so than a lot of others.
Yeah, so overall, I think you just watched that clip. I hope you did. The clip and the paragraph. Yeah, the clip is from my friend who has the most fabulous hair ever. I don't want to ramble on for too long in this video. But I didn't think of that the first time I watched it. I keep nearly falling over. It's actually better when I stand back. Yeah, I didn't think of that with the whole Cyberman thing and how it could be triggering for some people. At the first time I watching, I didn't think about that until he pointed it out to me, like in that clip, until I watched that the first time. I think if you take that away from it, it's an excellent storyline, and I think it's great, but you've got to think that some people don't get a second thought, like how that could hurt people or trigger them. Like, yeah, trans people wouldn't really get the second thought on how that could be dangerous to them when somebody was writing that storyline. If that makes sense. Yeah, as far as I'm going into it, because I need to wrap this up now. Yeah, so this is the end of the video. I literally have 40 seconds to say things. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want, like, a part 2, or things I haven't discussed, leave them in the comments below. And this is something you think I should have discussed, I will. But yeah, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed this. Give it a big thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below any feedback. And I hope you have a good day or a good night. Bye.
Left you outcast, but leader teased, rejoice.